Hello guys, and welcome to Total War Warhammer 2 with another free-for-all PvP. This is still one of our first ever free-for-alls and one of our first ever Total War Warhammer 2 PvPs in general. I would like to refer to this game as my troll game, because I didn't take this one seriously at all. But before we get to that, we are looking at Bretonnia. Can you guess who's playing Bretonnia? That's right, DK is once again at it. Playing Bretonnia. He's got some questing knights all lined up. 4 of them, in fact. Right behind some defenders of the Fleur de Lis. Hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. Who cares? We got companions of Quinnell's questing knights, regiments of renown. Okay, we got some mounted yeomen. Oh man. Mounted archers. Holy fucking shit. That's a lot of them. I'm amazed that I can see them all, considering they're hidden, and this save file is from my point of view. And of course, it wouldn't be him without some spells. We got a paladin and a prophetess of the heavens, his favorite. The prophetess of the heavens with all the spells. Well, you can tell his strategy is going to be something similar, but way more cav heavy. And in fact, I can tell you right now, do you want to know what his goal was? He made this army with one goal. I'm going to find Res, and I'm going to rush him. And you know, the best part is we started right next to each other. Except I'm not here. That's because if you've looked at the mini-map, you'll notice something weird on the map. I am around the spawn point for Toxic. I have lined up, surrounding him literally in like a square. On one side, a bunch of Goreherd Shield Regiment of Renown, right there. Right next to a couple of other units here. Orc Biggins, 3 of them. Just behind the main stack, I have Ungor Raiders, like 5 of them. Behind that, I have Centaurs with great weapons, regiments of renown versions. I got about 4 of those. Got Kazric One Eye himself, looking the wrong way. Guess One Eye really fucks with your perception, huh? And then more Goreherd Shields, regiments of renown lined up over here. Facing down another 3 Orc Biggins. He didn't know I was here, by the way. This is just coincidence. Behind, he has 1, 2, 3 elite black orcs. 2 trolls in the center. He has a Night Goblin Shaman, Grimgore Ironhide, and some Goblin Wolf Chariots in the center. And he also forward deployed. Bet he wishes he didn't do that now. He's got Night Goblins, Night Goblins, Night Goblin Archers, 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 Night Goblins. Yeah, little stealthy forward deployment. So we had DK who wanted to rush me and kill me. He was forward deploying, trying to figure out where to go, who to go for. And then we have Travis, who has picked the best formation ever. I'm not even going to read this to you because it's all stacked up on top of each other. But as you can see, he brought his Vampire Coast again. And he just kind of put everything together. I think he planned to play this one pretty defensively, given not playing defensively 2 matches in a row did not really work out the best for him. So without any further ado, let's unpause and watch as I immediately begin charging my Ungor Raiders forward to start shooting their super trailed arrows and the back of the Black Orcs. On both sides, I have my troops charging in to meet the Orc Biggins in a straight up fight. He was in voice, he's like, oh, Rez, I hate you right now. That's what he was doing. Over here, in the meantime, we have DK kind of forming up. At this point, he doesn't actually know I'm over here. He's looking around the map for me, being very confused on why he can't find me. I remember him telling me this. And Travis, he's getting in a defensive location, if I remember how he was doing this. But I am being charged, so I'm charging up my Centaurs with their great weapons. Good match for fighting Black Orcs, honestly. I don't know about good match for trolls, but here we go. Oh my god, magic that had some friendly fire. But here we go, Centaurs charging in with their great weapons, fighting the Black Orcs, fighting the trolls. He's using a lot of magic. I got some Centaurs going around one side. Got my range assisting from the side. He went with the chariots to intercept my Centaur's great weapons. I kept going. I was not... Oh, there you go. I got stopped now. And otherwise, we just have some big engagements where we're like trying to overwhelm him with numbers. Basically, I'm just being a massive troll. With a giant fuck you amount of magic, he's going ahead and chasing off my front line of Centaurs pretty quickly. But everything's pretty quick in this game anyway. As we can see, DK has arrived in my starting point, still confused on where I am, and has begun running around looking for me, trying to figure out where the fuck did this guy go. Still no idea where I am. The defensive fixtures of the Vampire Coast are getting into place, while us two are just duking it out. He's taking a stealth formation, bringing it back to join in the fight, while my range just rains hell on his Black Orcs. Also taking siege weapon fire from his Doom Diver catapults, which I don't remember pointing out, but you know, there it is. Pretty good, pretty nice. I guess, yeah, we decided to, with these guys, engage here. However, oh no, they're just a little split up. Sometimes the flag locations can be weird. There's so much magic and buffs at work here. It's crazy. Kazrak is just running around. I think he's using some kind of buff. I'm just kind of pulling this to the edge of the map for the time being. We have Blackhorn Ravagers, the Goreherd with shields basically, engaging here, while most of the rest have encircled the Orc Biggins in a pretty big battle of attrition that we are winning, even though the center is kind of falling apart. Our Ungor Raiders are being forced into melee range at the moment. Where the fuck's Kazrak? Is he in there? Oh yeah, Kazrak's in there. There he is. He's fighting now. There's already raining into both the trolls and my Ungor Raiders. We're having a fun time. The Centaurs ran away after defeating those chariots by the looks of it. Now charging into the rear of the Black Orcs. There you go. And we have some range, still in range, like territory, firing over everything just to shoot in the back of some of the Black Orcs that are melee engaging my Ungor Raiders over here to try to just take advantage of his like micro stretch here and see if we could just wipe out these elite units. He's focusing everything on me because the others are not really focusing too much on this. Yeah, the Bretonnians have started going through the center of the map. He was exploring. He told me he was exploring here to see where I had hidden. He took it forever to figure out where I actually was. So they haven't started fighting, but the Bretonnians are getting in danger close range of the now shifting defensive positions of the Vampire Coast. Shifting back over to my angle, it's really just a matter of seconds before these Black Orcs are fully dead. They only have 21 left. He has got some range firing on Kazrak. Kazrak's not doing so well, nor are the Centaurs that charged in. These ranged are now in melee, so their ranged will end. Kazrak's running away like a little bitch. The Black Orcs here have lost a third of their units since I looked away, and they are now routing. They're done for now. Have my Goreherd running around after chasing out basically all of these Knight Goblins he sent to reinforce his units, and basically only one Orc Biggin left here at all. Look at him go. So our center fell apart pretty quickly, but on the sides we actually did surprisingly well, chasing off the units we found here. Ah yes, that's right. DK finally found me, so he sent his Prophetess of the Heaven to start shooting magic in my ass, and also just generally at Toxic as well. Since we did win this fight though, my troops charged out into the remaining Knight Goblins and all the ranged and arty support that he had over here, since he pretty much completely abandoned his sidelines to just go try to wipe out where Kazrak was and that ranged battalion that I had. While his forces here regroup, I am now finishing off everything that he had over here in these woods, and we have a nice little melee charging in on all these ranged units he's left unguarded. His siege equipment is being pretty rapidly torn apart. Ooh, look at him go. Are they running? And they're running. Yeah. Yep. Even with a Prophetess occasionally coming in and fucking me in the ass, the range pretty much stands no chance and is being wiped out. His micro must be very split because it took him really a long while to get these moving, and he's just walking. Because I am Beastman, of course, a lot of my units, at least not the ones at the edge here, are coming back, and I repeatedly just charge them in, wiping out everything except that main force that he sent to engage the ranged harassing force that had the Centaurs in it. The Bretonnians are now in all-out combat with the undead hordes. Actually quite crazy. I feel like I'm looking at a fucking battle in Bladestorm. There's so much French cavalry just riding around. I really could be looking at Bladestorm. Bladestorm Nightmare, when all the undead everywhere. You can just kind of look at this without any indicators and see exactly who everybody is and where they are. The French really stand out, these Bretonnians. It's really just cavalry charging into a mixture of static and otherwise ranged defenses. A lot of the ranged defenses, which are fleeing into the woods over here, currently trying to engage the ranged yeoman archer harassment force that is literally just lined up over here to give them hell, and a melee front line to try to go charge into them. Oh my god, what are these things, bro? Sirens. What is this, Star Control 2? These are nearly... Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop that right there. But the Bretonnians have done some devastating charging effects like this right here. He's charging into the side of a fucking pole arm unit, but they were moving and not facing him, so that side charge actually works out pretty well. And his constant retreat and charge of all of his cavalry, his melee cavalry, sure, they're getting beat up, but they're doing a lot of damage, I'd say. They seem to be doing a lot of damage. His mounted yeoman archer's effectiveness is a little more limited, but they're playing very skirmishy, just shooting in against all these ranged units. Also getting shot at by some siege artillery. I have put a whole bunch of these gore herds in the forest here. They're just chilling. The ones over here have all surrounded the prophetess of the heavens because DK wouldn't leave me alone. So they just all surrounded her and they're just running around being dumb because the AI is dumb. Because the prophetess is actually routing. So they can't figure out how to attack her because who made this creative assembly is very good at making games. In case we missed this, I'm pretty confident that my fuck you horde of units here does eventually kill the prophetess of the heavens. He's now moving over here. He doesn't know my units are here, but he wants to go fight the units he sees over here. These mounted yeoman archers got a little close to me, and then so I decided to move my gore herd shields out to charge out like a bunch of fucking barbarian gremlins charging out from the fucking woods towards his little force here, literally to accomplish nothing else but to cause him some problems. He's immediately focusing fire on one of my units here with some magic and all of his ranged. It's on the weaker side for sure, as my stronger side charges in, meeting the remainder of his black orcs and night goblins, which he's using a bunch of like bonuses to assist in combat. Amazingly, none of my units broke along the way. Quite impressed. Can we see? She's still routing. She's almost dead. She's gonna die, I promise you. Here, the Bretonnians keep up their efforts of charging in, charging out, charging in over and over again. Very shock cavalry tactics. I don't remember if this game clarifies shock or not like the other games. I know they remove a lot in Total War Warhammer. I just keep forgetting how much they remove. But the undead really don't have a front line anymore. They are just kind of being engaged on all sides. A lot of their ranged units have made it to the back here to just fight other ranged units. All in all, the undead lines are failing, with Travis in the bottom for points. My units are becoming terrified and starting to retreat, as beasts do. And so they're running away from his little horde. This is still going. Okay, the prophetess is dead. So to get revenge, he sent his paladin now to engage this little fuck you stack, which probably doesn't stand a chance in an actual fight against the paladin, but the paladin is losing a lot of morale because it's surrounded. And in fact, it too is about to start routing. And wait for it. It's about to start routing. It's like on the verge of routing. Are you gonna rout, sir? Mr. Paladin? Are you gonna rout? You're like on the verge of routing. I don't know how you are not routing. He's giving it buff after buff. But it looks like it's out of morale, does it not? Do I have a way of seeing that? Maybe not in here. No. But we're fighting that still. We got some recovering units that were fleeing, and I'm just sending them over here to fuck with the hero, since DK decided to have both of his heroes fight me and not reinforce his actual armies, which would have given him a much better chance in this actual fight. Oh my god. Whoa! We just watched that get killed by a bunch of yeoman archers. I think a lot of his melee front line is dead at this point, but he still has his yeoman archers. I think it would have done a lot better if he actually supported his push, his offensive. But who am I to judge? I came into this completely fucking memeing with an army that existed to flank behind one player and cause chaos. I was hoping everyone else would converge and we would have one massive battle or something. That didn't end up being what was happening. Okay, the paladin is running. He's trying to run, and he's just getting beat up. So my little fuck you group here successfully ends up defeating his paladin. Both of his heroes, his hero and his main leader, died to a little mostly dead stack of my beastmen. Whereas over here, the toxic orcs are coming up behind some of Travis's men who are not prepared for it at all, because they've been dealing with DK this whole time. I don't think anybody played efficiently during this at all, but man, I think it was funny. Oh my god. The carronades are just shooting into the front lines of yeoman archers. It's just a exchange of ranged fire now that the melee front lines are like mostly dead. I always hate using ranged in these trees, because your arrows will hit the fucking trees. So many times I play co-op with people in these games and they'll put their range in the trees. I'm just like, why are you doing that? Like, what do you mean? It's good cover. Yeah, for the enemy when your archers hit the trees. Like, hello? Surprisingly, not a lot of people realize that that's a thing. Anyway. Yep, this is done. We won. Speed it up a little bit. This is where it starts to slow down. But as you can see, constant range fire. The orcs slithering their way through the tree line towards the undead, who are retreating into one more concentrated defensive fixture, chasing away the yeoman archers since DK doesn't really have much way to push anymore. I'm bringing my remaining beastmen around just with the goal of annoying Toxic some more. That was really it. So he, of course, decides to pull back. He's like, alright, I'm gonna deal with this fucker before I go and engage these guys. And so that's pretty much exactly what happens right about now. We're spotted. We charge in. We meet again for one final brawl in the trees, where my just weird ambush army that I really didn't think would survive this long just runs in to harass, engage, and kill more of his orcs. Surprisingly, he didn't fully commit everything. I guess he was worried about over here. But as you can see, Travis is more concerned about just setting up one final defensive fixture like it's some Helm's Deep shit, while most of DK's army is destroyed by this point. But he's charging in melee the remainder of his yeoman archers. I don't think any of us really knew how to pick enemies in this, but that's fine. Of course, my beastmen who are mostly dead will fall apart under the combined magic and buffs of the remaining orcs, who are working together in a pretty solidified fashion. The remaining yeomen have now run for their fucking lives. Almost none of them alive. The ones that are alive are coming over here to just... Actually, I don't know what they're doing. I guess they're here to just try to attack some fleeing units. Yeah, they just thought they would attack some fleeing units. Even though I don't know that... I guess that counts for points. I didn't think that counted for points. It didn't when I did it with ranged units. What are you fighting over here? Is there still anything to fight? There might have been some more. My warriors literally kept rallying until the end of this game. So that was pretty much a given. Even with the largest and best remaining army, Travis still just sat in his defensive fixture the whole time, even with the orcs just sitting in the trees doing nothing. But I think you get the gist of this. I did end up engaging and forcing one of his cavalry to flee DK's, and then Toxic decided to wait in the forest for like a good 2 minutes and just shoot the last remaining yeoman archer he saw. And then they just had this little thing where Toxic didn't want to move for several minutes. You could see the timer going by as I do cuts as well. And you can see the defensive lines adjusting here as they really delay this final confrontation. Finally, like 7 minutes of posturing comes to a head, and the orcs finally push out from the tree lines, meeting the ranged attacks of the vampire coast who is waiting for them. The orc range sets up and starts returning some fire over the heads of their heroes and lords and trolls, but pretty much most or all of the entire front line was already wiped out. This much of it sent fleeing just by ranged attacks and siege weapons alone. Barely any black orcs left now that I had harassed them so much. One troll surviving at least, plus the hero and the lord, is really all that remains to engage the front line, wisely running away from those fucking halberds and towards the more berserker and otherwise ranged units that the Vampire Coast had remaining. But these polearms are going to engage, wisely sending the black orcs to engage some of them so they couldn't get to the trolls, but not to much avail. The siege stuff just shooting right through the polearms, saying these casualties are acceptable to take out the black orcs with them, apparently. As we can see, the trolls are now running. Oh, they're back. They're running, now they're back. Oh, and now they're running again. And this is pretty much how it goes for the rest of it. It's just a battle of stats at this point. Polearms pushing up to engage the enemy ranged, as well as some berserker infantry, where the archers will of course be completely overmatched. And the final lord and hero of Toxic's army gets surrounded and defeated. That was my troll game. It ended up being pretty funny with everyone just kind of being all over the place and not really knowing what to do or how to do anything or anything. It was a lot of fun, if you ask me. Oh, as you see, yeah, this is when we recorded these. It's been a while. Wow, 5 months since I'm recording this. Holy crap. I waited a while to make these. I love how this freezes in the background every time I select something like this. This game is so silly. I have one more battle to show you, and it's when all 4 of us, or like 3 of us or something, did a gigantic co-op siege, and that's what I'm going to show you next. For now, though, that'll be it for today, so thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.